I think it's time for us to talk about this GameStop article from Jason Schreier over on Kotaku. I'm not going to read this to you. Go read this if you can. Just search GameStop Kotaku. It'll be the very first thing that pops up for you, I believe. So let me just walk you kind of through what Jason Schreier discovered. Talk about GameStop's future. I used to work at GameStop, so I think I can provide a little bit of insight on this. And so I think this story is important because it's important for physical gaming. All right, so GameStop has this policy called the Circle of Life, and the misinformation that people are communicating is that this is a brand new program. What people are miscommunicating here is that this is a brand new program. The program itself is not new. The Circle of Life has existed for quite some time with GameStop, but basically it's pre-owned, pre-orders, and trades. So basically the thought is if you get pre-orders on games, people buy those games new, and then when other new games come out that they want to buy, they bring those games back in, they trade those in, get in-store credit, and then that replenishes your stock of used games so that other people can come in and buy pre-owned games. And then the other metric. The fourth thing is power-up rewards cards. So if you can get, and basically like the statistics are, if somebody doesn't have a card, they spend X amount. If they do have like a basic card, they'll come in 5 times more often in a year. And if they upgrade to the Pro, they'll come in 15 times more often in a year than somebody who doesn't have it. So if you can get people to sign up for this premium card, boom, you've got you're building customer loyalty within it. However, recently, right after I left, in fact, the ball kind of started rolling on this at the end of October, and that's when I left. They started developing a new way of measuring their metrics by saying, here's the 4 Circle of Life categories. You have to meet that metric so many times in like a month span, or you will get fired. And so the way it works is like it's a percentage of Power Up Pro cards. So out of all the transactions you do, if you can get like 15-20% to sign up for Power Up Pro cards, it is a percentage of transactions that involve trades. It's a percentage of transactions that involve pre-orders, and then it's a percentage of sales for pre-owned stuff. So if somebody comes and buys $1,000 of new, it spends $1,000, GameStop expects $300 of that to be pre-owned items. So,
is that the actual percentage, or you just
30% is the actual percentage for that? So, they're looking at 30% of all dollars spent at GameStop being spent on pre-owned items. And basically, what's happening is some districts, and that's what people need to understand about this, is like, a lot of people are like, well, they don't do this at the GameStop I work at. And they didn't do this at the GameStop I worked at. I actually worked for a really great district manager who really tried to understand, like, because we live in a poorer area, and like there are just parts of that metric that don't really align with poorer areas. Like people don't see the value in a $15 card when they're coming in buying a $1.50 game, like used game from the 360. But there are districts where district managers and stuff feel like, or getting pressure from regional managers and other upper corporate people to say, you need to meet these metrics, and they're putting in like these kind of shady practices. And so what's happening with what Jason Schreier dug up is some people are saying like, there's times where people will come in and they'll want to purchase a brand new console, and that's a $400 hit or a $300 hit on what we're doing. And if we can't talk them into a pre-owned one, we just tell them, hey, we don't have any new consoles in. Or like there was a sale that was going on where Watch Dogs 2 was $29.99 new, $52.99 pre-owned. People were coming in wanting to buy it new because it was cheaper, and they just say, hey, we're out of stock, even if they weren't. And basically, it was leading employees to believe if we don't lie about what we have in stock, they weren't going to meet their metrics and they were going to get fired. Because that's happening. people are getting fired for not meeting these numbers. There's areas where it's not, but there's areas where it is. And so, did you guys get a chance to read the article, skim through it?
Yeah, skim through it.
And what did you guys think?
First off, just the metric of making it a flat percentage of dollars spent is so odd to me because, like, I'm cool with buying used games, but I know some people are a little shady with it. But I imagine many more people are shady with buying a used console.
Yeah.
And so I imagine that's causing tons of hits to people. Like, I'm not going to buy a used console unless it's like half the price.
Yeah, for me, anything over $60, I'm buying new.
Yeah.
If I can get it new, I'm getting it new because I don't want to waste that money. It's like a money sink. It's like when they had the Vita things for a while there, where you didn't know until it happened you couldn't buy a used Vita because the batteries were jacked up on them. And like, I want to have a choice to be able to spend my money if it's going to be a $10 difference to go ahead and get the new one and know it's going to last longer. So,
and it's so I can see that really easily crushing people because your pre-owned game sales are not going to counter your new console sales for sure. Yeah, that's a real crappy system all around.
I just feel like if you put more time into like cultivating customer service, like instead of worrying so much about, I mean, they're a company, so they want to worry about the bottom line. But if you worry about like having people that are knowledgeable about games there, having people that understand how to push people in the right direction for what they're asking for, I feel like you do a lot better financially that way than trying to force something on somebody that they don't want. Because I mean, if somebody tries to oversell to me, I'm just going to say, well, I forget it. I'll just come back when you're not here and get it then, you know. And that I do that with everything. Like if I go in and somebody wants to start, like we went to Babies R Us this weekend to try to get a car seat for Eli. And the guy tries to oversell me, and I'm like, well, we'll think about it and come back. And we didn't go back because I was like, I'm not going back to talk to that guy because I don't want to be oversold to. I know what I want, and I'm going to get what I want. And I think if they just put more time, instead of making it schemy, they could see a lot more return on used stuff. They could see a lot more value to be had from the per customer than just placing this overarching metric to say that they have to meet this certain quota. It's just ridiculous to me.
So,
go ahead.
One last thing. I think the metric is unrealistic, but I also think the use of the metric is just terrible. Like, using the metric to reward people who do better, I think, would be good, but like, you're going to get fired if you don't meet this.
Yeah, it's one thing to incentivize it. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to de-incentivize other things in favor of it, you know? And like you said, don't make it a percentage, make it a dollar amount. Like, say, hey, you know, you're working a 4-hour shift, and like, working at GameStop in any retail place, like, I'm not giving away industry secrets here or anything, like, you have sales expectations for the day coming in, like based on that same day last year, based on, you know, sales that are going on. Like, there are metrics that are put in place. There are algorithms that these companies use to say, hey, on June 8th of 2016, we expect you to make X amount of dollars, and say, so what we want to see you do is meet this number of pre-owned sales, and not make it a percentage.
Waiting tables at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
We had that kind of thing.
So, but Ben, you made a really interesting point here, and I think this is the thing that I noticed the most as a shopper at GameStop. Now, I'm not going to say this to sound arrogant, but I am proud of the time that I did spend at GameStop, because I was hired on in like February or March as a game advisor, and by the time I left 8 months later, I was an assistant manager. Like, so I feel like I understood the company, and I feel like I understood the customers really well. But when I went in for my interview, the manager at the time asked me and said, "Is there such a thing as too much customer service?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I was like, "I'm one of those customers who, when I come into the store, I either am coming in, and when I say I'm just looking, I'm really just looking. Mm-hmm. I'm just browsing around, or B, I know what I want, and I don't need somebody to tell me everything that's on sale in the store." Right. And two very quick anecdotes. I remember back when we used to go there years ago, there was a manager that worked there who would just follow you around the entire time and tell you about all this stuff and would just talk to you as if you were unaware of anything that was going on in gaming. And that was one of those situations I never wanted to buy from that person. Then I went in right after I got done after I got done working at GameStop. I went in a few weeks later, and they had gotten a new manager who did the same exact thing. Followed me around, asked me what I like to play, told me what was coming up, asked me if I wanted to pre-order it. Like, he didn't know I used to work there, and he just went through every little checkbox of what he's supposed to do. And the thing that terrifies people at GameStop is that work there, they get secret shoppers in there all the time. Secret shoppers calling on the phone. And like, if you don't hit one of these questions you're supposed to ask, boom, like, you're in trouble. And that's, you're not cultivating trust within your associates, and you're not cultivating the opportunity for them to have the freedom to be able to read a situation. Because when I worked there, I really tried to read a situation. I really didn't care if I got secret shopped or anything, mostly because I was like, if they fire me, they fired me. But I want to make sure people are comfortable in my store. And,
that's so much more important, I feel like, than hitting any kind of like script of questions you're supposed to ask.
Yeah, if you're following me around, I assume you think I'm stealing something.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you think I'm an idiot. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the gist I get from a lot of that is that you're insulting my intelligence. I think what you said, I know 99.9% of the time, I know exactly what I'm going to the store for. So I don't need you to tell me every little thing that's happening.
Yeah. And so, like I said, I do think like it's important not just to do your business while they're there the first time. Like, you want to give them a reason to want to come back in the future. And I've gotten to the point, like, I don't go to GameStop anymore because I just don't want to answer all the questions. And it's nothing against the employees there at all. I know what it's like to be on that side of the counter. I know what it's like to have to try to meet those numbers. But as a customer, it's really uncomfortable. And I applaud employees that don't want to make it uncomfortable by doing that. But I also understand employees who are like, look, this is all I have to do. Like, if I lose this, I don't have another job I can go do. Like, and I appreciate and respect them for doing what the company expects them to do. But the people I have the problem with at GameStop is corporate, is the offices that set these policies in place and tell their employees, like, we don't trust you to be able to read a situation. Here's basically the script you've got to walk through in order to get people to buy what you need to buy. Like, if I notice somebody's in there 3 times in a month and they don't have a rewards card, I'm going to be like, look, man, I see you in here all the time. And like, the cool thing about the computer is it tells you how much savings they've missed. And so, like, I've got a value proposal right there. Like, look, I've seen you in here the last 3 times in the last month, and with this $15 card, you would have saved $40. It sells itself at that point, and that's when that's by getting people to come back. And so, but here's the situation GameStop finds themselves in, and I think this is the more important part of the conversation, is they recognize they're not going to be around.
Brick and mortar's dying.
Brick and mortar's dying. Digital is exploding, and that's not an anecdotal thing anymore. That's statistically being shown. Like, the biggest publishers in the world, like EA, Activision, Sony, and Microsoft, are seeing huge explosions of percentages of digital sales increasing. And so, GameStop, you remember back when GameStop was like, we're going to try to sell pre-owned digital content, and that all fell through? That was the moment they realized, oh crap. This is the end of the line for us, because we exist on pre-owned. Another reason I don't like going in GameStop is because I feel bad now. Because when I go in, I'm buying currency to upload onto my console, and it's like, I know that you don't hit anything in those 4 metrics, because I'm not renewing my card, I'm not trading anything in, I'm not buying pre-owned, and not pre-ordering anything. I think that's what I missed. Like,
can you pre-order currency?
You actually can, and that's bullcrap.
Really?
You can not like Microsoft currency or anything, but like MLB The Show has stubs, 2K has the coins and all that. You can pre-order that stuff. Yeah, VC. You can pre-order that junk because of all the times you sell out of VC.
Yeah.
And there's no like incentive to do it. You don't get like a percentage off or anything. But anyway, yeah. But GameStop realizes the writing's on the wall that brick and mortar's dying, and what's so damning about this story is the reason that it's stuck around as long as it has is because Microsoft and Sony rely on them to sell their hardware in order to get people to purchase the software. You can't play PlayStation 4 games without a PlayStation 4, right? And
Challenge accepted.
You can't play Xbox games without a Windows PC because they don't have any exclusives, Ben. That's the joke. They all come to the Windows 10 as well. Anyway, but if Sony and Microsoft catch wind that, like, and you have to imagine these conversations are happening right now, like, especially now that both consoles are profitable on each sale, you have to imagine the conversation is happening where they're like, we bend over backwards sometimes offering these deals for GameStop so that, you know, the driving traffic, pushing hardware and all this stuff. But if they're lying to customers about not having new stuff that we're making money off of so they can sell the pre-owned stuff that we don't see a dime of, you have to imagine there's a breaking point in there somewhere. And, yeah, it's not going to be good. Like, hardware is the reason. You can't download a console or a controller. That's the reason you exist now. So throw Microsoft and Sony a bone every now and then, GameStop.
Because if you don't, like, I may not be able to download a console, but I can walk across the parking lot from our GameStop and get one from Walmart.
Or I can go on Amazon, you know. And especially with, like, the gamer club. Like, if we live near a Best Buy, I would definitely never go into a GameStop. Because you get 20% off, or 10 or 20% off brand new games. That's the deal right there.
Prime members get a really good discount on Amazon games too. I mean, I don't remember what it is. So some games it's like 10% or 15%. But
what's up, GTB399? Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Je m'appelle Luke.
Je m'appelle Nick.
Jim Apple Larry.
Jim Apple Larry. Je suis le plus noir de la classe.
Shia LaBeouf. Shia the beef.
All right. Is that all we have to say about GameStop?
That's all we got to say. I don't want to waste any more breath on this matter.